like a DJ the way that like slow down. Oh, I'm getting good at this, y'all. Okay, so welcome to the Sis Talk Show. I am your host, Sable B, founder and creator of Real Brown Girls, which started in 2014. I can't believe it's been this many years, but I am super excited for tonight's episode in particular. So, for those of you who do not know, I truly think that I am Sally Jesse Raphael with a dash of Oprah, Ricky Lake, Montel. Basically, I watched far too many talk shows when I was younger that I had no business watching. I almost actually bought a pair of red eyeglasses the other day, but something made me stop. I was like, these ain't it, because I'm trying to be on my Sally Jesse. But either way, the Sis Talk Show is an opportunity for me to sit down with some really dope Black women and talk about things that are relevant to us. So, I'm really excited about tonight in particular, not just because it's Niani, but because we're talking about Black women, we're talking about professions, and then we're talking about the coin. We hear all this talk about securing the bag, but the reality is when you're both Black and woman, when it comes to all things pay equity, it's just a very different experience for us. And as the creator of Hire Black, I mean, with Black Women's Equal Pay Day coming up, I was like, well, obviously, of all people to talk to, we have to talk to Niani. So I am going to bring Niani to the stage, which means I am simply spotlighting Niani for tonight. And then we are going to get this party started. Wait, it like unspotlighted you. Oh no, you're still there. Okay, let me remove. It looks weird on my end. It hasn't looked like this before. Zoom is doing strange things. Pop into the chat for me, because we got to record these things and I need to know what this is going to look like on the end. If you see two screens next to each other on your end, just put yes in the chat for me, because this is what editing is for. This is what happens when you take things live. So Niani shaking her head, yes. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to ignore what I see, and I trust all of you, okay? This is talk about sisterhood. Kenyatta and Natasha in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so if you haven't heard of Niani, that's okay. It is a lot of people doing dope things out here, and it's impossible to know everyone. But I want you all to, experience her on this evening. She's dope. Okay, I only talk to dope people. That sounds so disrespectful, but we are where we are tonight. I keep it honest with you all. But dope people doing dope things, especially ones who prioritize us, because the reality is not everyone here is doing that. So without further ado, I want to bring to the stage Niani. Talk to us. How are you? How is your day? And where are you joining us from?
Thanks, Sable. I'm so excited to talk to all of you. I mean, I love the energy already. When our first conversation, Sable, I was like, okay, let's try to make this happen. I had a great day so far. Earlier today, I talked to Black Tech Week about how to glow up your LinkedIn. And right now I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to everyone about Black Women's Equal Pay Day, what we have going on for Black Women's Equal Pay Day with Hire Black, and how to get your money, how to get the money you deserve. So Hire Black started off as a viral LinkedIn post. I was a furloughed tech recruiter who was broke and bored and scared. I was scared, child, because I was a tech recruiter for a luxury fitness gym, like a gym. So I knew my job was on the line. Like
COVID. Oh yeah, certain jobs, it was just like, I mean, I could pray, but
yes, COVID shut us down. And I was just like, okay, I know for a fact that we're not going to continue to be hiring engineers.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? That paired up with me doing things just for the community, and also with the protest for George Floyd, I was thinking, what can I do? Because everybody has a lane, right?
Yeah.
Everybody own lanes and their own ways of protesting. And I wanted to help 19 Black women get resume review sessions for Juneteenth. I went on LinkedIn and then I asked my network of recruiters, did they happen to have any time to help 19 Black women? And from that, over 300 recruiters reached out and within
Mm.
48 hours, and over 500 Black women submitted their resume.
They were
So
ready.
they
We
was ready.
ready. Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was walking into. I just wanted to help 19, but I had the time. So the whole summer, I ended up matching me and Ashley and a few other volunteers. We were volunteers. Ended up matching over 300 Black women with recruiters, hiring managers, and executive leaders that summer for resume review sessions. And we just didn't stop there. I was offered my job back again, but I found so much fulfillment. So that's
Mhm.
one thing. Found so much fulfillment in what I was doing. And my job was trying to get me to come back at 75% salary
Oh,
and a delayed promotion that I was gonna get. So I was like, hey, if I can do bad, at least
I'm doing by myself.
let me do bad all by myself and happy. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna sacrifice, let me really sacrifice.
Yeah.
Um, and so I decided not to go back to work, and that means I forfeited unemployment because
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
when
Mhm.
you and that's one of the things we'll talk about. But like if you're about that life, you have to be about that life. You have to be willing to walk away to make your point, or be willing to walk away. So then I decided to do Hire Black full time, and in the past year, we have been able to place Black women in really, really competitive opportunities, like Amazon's recent UX cohort that only accepted 32 people and had 2 Hire Black members out of 5,000 applicants. You
Oh,
know, and
that's
we
dope.
and we've been able to increase our members' total compensation by over $825,000. So from our resources, people have been able to make more money, switch new jobs, increase their salary by $60,000. And
Mhm.
for at least one person had increased their salaries by 2 people increased their salary by $60,000. And so right now we're just gonna keep on going, keep on providing free and affordable resources to Black women, and that's what we're here for. I'm very excited to talk to you guys today about what we have coming up.
First of all, can everyone just give a hand clap of a praise, right? An applause, a shout, a quick feat, whatever it is that you do when you get excited, because the last year and some change has been a difficult year for many people for so many different reasons. So, the way that you were able to channel your reality of being, I love how you said broken board, right? Broken board, and to take that and to do just something tremendous for us. I mean, kudos to you all around. Because that's not something, it's like when you lose your job or decide to walk away from your job, that's a very like personal experience. And to take that personal experience and to transform it into something broader for the community. I mean, I feel like I need those gold balloons in behind me that show up on Instagram. I don't know what the number should be, right? I don't know if it's like 60,000. I don't know if it's 852, like whatever the number is, but I just feel like I need gold balloons behind me just to give you all the praise and kudos that you deserve. Okay, now, so you were broke, you were bored. It started off with a LinkedIn post. I know you said like your job offered you back not just 75% pay, but delaying your promotion. What was that like process like to be like, yeah, I hear you, but no, I'm done?
Um, well, I'm gonna be completely honest. I did delay applying to different roles because
Mhm.
that I had known that I had some of the job security.
Mhm.
A lot of the people were going to different in my company were going to different opportunities, and so I thought very strategically. And this is you play, you kind of roll with dice, but when you're messing with corporations, and we'll talk about it, but you have to be very strategic. So I thought that if I were to come back, that I would have a lot of power when it comes to leadership, and accelerated leadership, and the people that I was reporting into became, like, one of the guys that I reported into became this chief technology officer.
Okay.
So a lot of people were getting promotions that I was really close to. But then what happened was that instead of me being reporting into technology, which was I was originally doing, they then shifted me to report into talent and HR for corporate, and which was totally
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
And so once I received that information, I felt as though I didn't have all of my cards on the table. Like, I wasn't able to make those types of decisions, because with chief technology officer, I knew I have a good relationship. I could do whatever I want, right? But this other guy, I don't know him. Like,
Yeah,
he
that's
seems,
different.
but I don't know him. And so with that type of shift, I then had to think, is this even worth it? Right? Like, I don't have that leverage at that moment. So even if I were to go back, I don't think that, I think it would be a totally different, I would have to prove myself. And
Yeah.
so with that, I'm saying all of this to help you guys understand that it was not something that was just like, oh, hell nah, because it was something that, and when you find out, whether you find out you're getting underpaid, or whether you find out that you something has changed, you have to really think about all the effort that you put into that company. Because if I were to have left without knowing the leverage that I've had, then that's difference between me leaving at one level rather than staying for a few months and then leaving at another level and then going to another company, right? Like, you want somebody, let's say if they're engineer level 1, right? And they find something out. You want to make sure that you get to engineer level 2 so that you can transition to a new job horizontally rather than having to start at another company from the bottom. So, well, once I found out that they were trying to delay that promotion, I was like, why would I delay? Why would I delay until, like, I might as well just jump ship into another company? And I decided to just leave. So that's the reason why once I got that information, it was an obvious no. And those, it was frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really talked to anybody. This is the first time I'm talking to somebody really publicly about how frustrating that was, because I put so much into that company, and I felt as though I've proved myself through other initiatives and through other things about how capable I was and to bringing value to that company. And it's like, I can be written about by Forbes. I can have do a whole entire summit. I can do all this other type of stuff, but y'all still want me at like I've done so much. I've shown so much. So it's like, if you guys, I thought if they didn't want to show or see that value, but they still wanted for me to lead some DI initiative, but they don't want to pay me, but then I'm not going to stay here. There's no reason. There's no reason.
Natasha in the chat say, listen, I am in the same place. I did the toddlers, they be knowing no. Sometimes we have to channel our inner no.
Right.
But I hear that. Like, it's one thing to say, like, because I could see someone, even if it wasn't you, like, rationalizing, well, it's a pandemic, revenue's not the same based on our sales model, our business model. So I can understand 75%, but now you want to dip me there and delay my promotion. Okay, now that's a bit too much for my spirit, and I gotta dip.
Yeah, I mean, and I was, because like I said, thinking strategically, I was willing to wait, and because I understood 75% pay, but at least change my title. At least change
negotiation, like, that's already something to, if you can't give me the pay, then can you give me the title?
Change my title. If you want to put me on DEI chair committee, don't put me on no DEI chair committee if you're not going to change my title and you're going to pay me at 75% pay. That's not going to happen. I'm not doing this for extracurriculars. We're not here for extracurricular.
We're not trying to get into grad school. We're not trying to get an undergrad. I don't care about
that's not going to help me. That's not going to help me. So I decided once they just said that they couldn't change my title, and changing my title is free. It's free 99.
Yeah, it
Understood
is.
that means that they would have to then pay me at a certain point at that price range once the salary comes back. But it's like if you want to invest into someone, then do that. If you want someone to work with you, then do that. But once they decided not to change my title, I just said, okay, then why am I here? You can't even do something that's free. Um
Mhm.
and get me that these decisions were not easy to make,
No.
but they just really, like you said, it didn't sit well with my spirit. Like
Mm.
it's something where it was like, even if I sat here and I took the job or we made it work, because of the fact that this was even a fight, I'm gonna look at you sideways. I'm
Yeah,
gonna look at you.
whatever trust I had, even if it was small to begin with, it's now gone.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the reasons why I go hard for Black women, and one of the reasons why I make the decisions that I make, is because my mom was unemployed for 9 years. She was
Mm.
unemployed for 9 years, and she was a single mother. So I'm over here trying to figure out what my mom is doing to get this cash, because how are you figuring this out? Like, what are you doing, woman?
Miracles and blessings. Miracles and blessings.
The whole community raised me. But because of that, like, I saw how hard it was for my mom to get a job, and she was in corporate, like insurance sales and corporate, well, insurance membership customer service for a long time. And
Okay.
you know how they keep a lot of Black people in customer service.
Yeah, but trying to go up, then it becomes
They
difficult somehow, some way.
somehow difficult, right? So my mom had 10 years of experience in insurance, corporate insurance, customer service, and it took her 9 years to find a job after that. She was even asking for retail jobs. It was hard to get a job for at that time for her. It was very difficult for her to get a job. So because of that, there's two folds. There
Mhm.
is that being afraid of losing the job, and me feeling like, no, I have to really go for Black women, because Black women are holding the community up. I need to make sure Black women get jobs. But also on the flip side, also feeling like, if I can curse, can I
No,
curse?
I'll cuss,
Okay,
okay?
okay,
I throw bombs in. We might
okay,
we might edit them like shade room style, but
okay.
we use them.
Okay, on the flip side of me being afraid, I'm also like, fuck these corporations. Like, I'm not gonna sit here being in the same place for this long and then not have your loyalty. Fuck these corporations. So on one side I have this trauma of losing a job, but on the other side I'm just like, man, I'll step away real quick.
And you raised such a good point. Like, and I wish we spoke about this more, and I'm sure we'll get to it in terms of pay. But like, there's whether or not we want to acknowledge it as individuals or just like as a community, the trauma of a Black woman, particularly one who's head of her household, because that's just the family structure, or financially the breadwinner, the fear of losing the job, because you automatically, your brain goes through the cascading effects.
Yep.
But then you're in a place that doesn't respect you and honor you and see your humanity, and you're like, oh, and then like trying to reconcile that tension day in and day out, like that's real.
Right. I mean, shout out to Naomi Osaka, shout out to Simone Biles. And the reason why I say that is because I'm sure they're feeding a lot of people, but they are their exemplifications of people who are just like, you know what? My mental health. You know what? I know you guys are relying on me, but I have to be okay in order to be okay, right? I have to be okay in order to do my job. If I don't do my job well, y'all gonna look at me like, what is this Black woman doing, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't, if I am not okay at my job, then I can't be the sister. I can't be the mother. I can't be the auntie. Can't be the godmama. I can't be all of these things, because, as we're providing, right? As we're providing Black women are a lot of roles to a lot of people, and a lot of mothers to a lot of people. Black women are mothers to their friends. Black women shouldn't be mothers to their mans, but sometimes you know how
I'm staying out of that. I'm staying out of that.
It shouldn't be, but
that's for my group chat. That's for my group chat.
We gotta, sometimes we gotta step up and play that role. But you know what I'm saying? Like we play a lot of roles, and even the money that comes in, because of how far and because of the racial wealth gap and racial wealth divide, we're not talking about generational wealth coming from me to my future or my offspring. We're talking about me to my ancestors. We're talking about me to my sisters. It's lateral, right?
Yeah, lateral or even backwards, not forward.
Backwards.
Yeah. So, or it's in every direction but forward.
It could be somebody play cousin, and somehow we on the hook for that, right? And so I think it's really important because we're playing, no matter if you have a child or not, we're playing all of these roles. And so in order to play all these roles, one, we have to be well enough to be there for these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our mental health has to be there. But then also, if our mental health isn't there because we're not happy with our job, and our job sees that we're not happy with our job because things are changing, because we're not happy, then we're still at the risk of losing our job and not being able to provide for all these people.
It's like a vicious cycle if it does not get broken or we don't poke some holes in it at some point. Okay, so we clearly talking about jobs here, y'all, right? When you hear the gender pay gap, because that's the tokenistic phrase, like what's the first thing that comes to your mind or just like enters your spirit when you read that or you see that, whether we're talking Forbes, Business Insider, the Washington Post, or whatever? Gender pay gap, like what first comes to Niani's brain?
That's a good question. A lot of things come to my brain. The first thing
list them.
The first thing that comes to my brain is we gotta roll and be loud. Like somebody gotta get jumped. Like we gotta fix this. I don't know, choose violence or something. But
Twitter, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's like I woke up and I chose violence today.
Violence. And when I say this, I say this with slightly joking but pretty serious.
Yeah.
We gotta figure out these tactics, right?
Yeah.
We have to be strategic. So there's a lot of men that talk about money so much with each other. They talk about money. They bring up anything. They complain about anything that they do extra, then be like, hey, I'm not getting paid for this. There's a lot of white women that go out here and they will cry and be inside of inside of offices because they're overwhelmed with the amount of work that they have that was not that their job evolved to be, right?
Yeah.
That happens. That we see it happen, right? But I think especially for Black women, we try to make sure that we don't complain. We try to make sure that we step up to the plate because we do that. That's what we does. You know what I'm saying? And so oftentimes we're getting overlooked because even though we can carry a lot of weight, we're not speaking up and talking about all the weight that we're carrying that's not even ours, right? Instead, we are accepting that weight and we're doing the best that we can. But we have to raise hell. We have to raise hell in whatever way that looks like. It doesn't have to necessarily be crying. It doesn't necessarily have to be complaining, but it should be some form of documentation, right? And so what I always do is when it comes to refuse ceasing time, or when it comes, in the beginning of your job acceptance, talk about, okay, so what are, and if a manager doesn't know how to do it, then you take over, right?
Yeah.
So I often say like, okay, so what's my 6-year plan? Can you tell me exactly what I'm doing right now? And what does the next level look like? What are the tasks of what I do right now? What are the tasks of the lead? What are the tasks of the manager? And write that down, follow up with that, send that to them, and then ask in 3 months and 6 months, hey, so this is what I originally
did. Track it.
This is what I originally did. And I noticed, hey, I noticed that I do something that's more like a manager. Where am I at right now? Is there more responsibilities that if I take on, or what? Not even say that, but what are the specific things that you're looking for me to be fully in that role? Because I see that my roles are starting to get integrated right now. So it
Mhm.
looks like I'm on track to become a manager.
Like my trajectory is in that direction. Therefore, let's just make sure we're aligned.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
want to make sure that, or is there anything else that I'm missing? Because I see that I'm doing this role already. So where are we? Right? Where are we? Or are we talking? Am I fully transitioning into this role now? I mean, and it sounds pretty bold and it sounds pretty straightforward, but I mean, it's bold of somebody to ask you to do manager work when you're not a manager. That's bold. And so
That's my tambourine.
and so I think that's the first thing that's pretty necessary. And then the second thing is to always talk about money. I talk about money I try to get everybody to talk about money. And one thing that we have coming up, in addition to our salary negotiation workshop on August 3rd, which is Black Women's Equal Pay Day, where we'll be talking to equal pay specialist and a compensation director at a
Mhm.
large pharmaceutical company. We're also relaunching our Radically Transparent Salary Database, which is a database of over 600 anonymously sent salaries and equity agreement or equity numbers from from different parts and different industries. So that is going to be that is filterable by industry, filterable by years of experience, job skills, whatever that, like a bunch of different things, so that people can say, hey, I'm a recruiter with 4 years of experience living in New York City. What are other recruiters within the same space look like in New York
That
City?
information is so powerful. And I wish we spoke about money more than we do. Like, so to be clear, to make it plain, right? Black folks talk about money, but in a very like indirect way. So money is tied to like a physical, tangible thing. I'm going to purchase this. I want this. Or is this like this philosophical, theoretical securing of the bag? But you can't actually secure the bag if you don't know the market rate value of that bag. To know, did you actually secure it? Or are you holding on by a shoestring because my bag is loaded with half dollars and they're giving you pennies, but it ain't the same amount. So like in your experience of like talking to people about like actual numbers, how have you found that to go? Because I have found depending on the person, either they'll be like, so sis, I came in at 125, it was a $10,000 bonus, but within 3 months we increased it by 15%. Like they give you the hardcore numbers, or they're like, I'm comfortable.
Mm, mm. It's been I've had a very interesting outlook or experience when it comes to that, because as a recruiter, I was the person who knew all the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the people would come to me. Higher Black kind of started off as this thing called Glow Up Game, because it was me and three other Black women that was in tech, that they were like, hey, am I making enough? And I'm like, girl, no, no.
No.
This this girl made no. She had 6 months more of experience. She made $20,000 more. So in 6 months, you should be making $20,000. Like I had all the numbers. I was the girl that had the numbers, and so oftentimes I would look at somebody and be like, "You're not getting paid enough," or if somebody rolled through my desk, I'd be like, "No, this." If they tell me that they're being paid underpaid, I would literally be like, I just want you to know that your compensation expectation is too low.
Mm.
Don't go around saying that to people, because you're saying 70,000, you are worth 110. And I would say that in my screening calls. Like I would just
Yeah.
say to people. Um but in terms of like where I see how other people are navigating getting this information, a lot of people and this is what I want to emphasize, even within the higher Black community on our Slack group. A lot of people are turning to recruiters, a lot of people are turning to hiring managers at different companies, a lot of people are turning to allies. We need to turn and network vertically. Do not focus on just networking up. Network vertically. Networking vertically gives you all of the answers that you need. Like, how people go to conferences and everybody wants to speak to the speaker.
Yeah, and there's a long line. When you
Long
really
line.
need to be talking about everyone, you need to be talking to the people who are in that audience.
Exactly. Long line of a bunch of people who not gonna talk to each other that's in the line. So that 2 minutes, they're gonna spend 30 minutes waiting
On the
to
line.
talk to the speaker,
Yeah.
not talking to the people in line when they could
You get a picture with the speaker. You'll get a picture with the speaker. But do you actually really get to talk to the speaker?
Right. The speaker not gonna remember you.
No.
And then it's just, but instead you could have talked to 4 or 5 people and they could have got you information and you could have found something out from that time. So I think it's important for people to remember to network across, right? Like if you're applying for a job or anything like that and you see another Black person that worked at that job, ask that person, hey, how was it like working as a Black person at that job?
Yeah. What was your interview process like?
Yeah. How was it? Did you feel comfortable? Why did you leave? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there is somebody else that has a certain amount of experience like you can, be like, hey, I would love to get to know you, try to be friends with other people who are within your experience level within your industry. And once you build that rapport, then start talking to them about money, because the answers should not be held to the people to the gatekeepers. The answer should not be held to the recruiters, to the hiring managers. Like we need to be able to have that information and it should be accessible. And in that way, you're going to talk to the people that are around you. Something that I really love that Issa Rae said about networking.
Networking across.
About networking across is that like she was able to see how much other people was making, other content creators and other producers were making, because they would talk to each other and they'd be like, hey, they offered me this. Does that make sense? They'll be like, no, somebody else offered me a bunch more money. So with that information, she was able to know how much she should be getting paid because she was able to have conversations with people who are doing something similar.
And not only that, with like the networking across, like if the goal, because not everyone's goal is like to move up in an organization, but if your goal is to move up in an organization or around, because some people like after 2-3 years, they tap out, they're like, okay, I've done my bid here, I'm gonna move on to the next organization, even if it's like a lateral move. You can go up together when you all have bonded, you have become friends, you have talked to each other. So now I'm in a VP position and I need to get clients. You're a VP over here. We've grown up together, even if it was in 2 different organizations. Now we help each other, like we still help each other across going up. I urge people, the folks at the top, they don't have time for us. Or you, like they have time, everyone has time for the people at their level, and they only engage in that direction when it's beneficial to them. Or they really take a liking to you, sponsor mentee style. Other than that, this is where the value is.
I mean, and that's for anybody, like everybody is living. And what I say to people is that everybody is living their own lives, right? So carving time for someone that they don't really know is really difficult, especially if a lot of people are trying to hit them up. Yes. Right. But building actual authentic relationships, building actual authentic partnerships, collaborating with people in different ways, or just being honest and open. There's some people within the higher Black community that have decided to have their own little cohorts of people who just send each other texts that are motivational, or keep each other accountable for their goals, which it could be outside of even career. It could be,
it could be running in the morning,
whatever it is. But community is what's going to help you move forward. And like you said, you can be growing up or you can be growing around with these people. But it's really important to really look to your peers for these answers and look to your peers for advice.
Salary negotiation. We got a workshop coming up. What inspired you? Inspiration. Sometimes we don't need inspiration anymore, motivation. We just got to do what we got to do. But of all the things to discuss, What made you and your team go, yep, we're going to do a salary negotiation workshop, particularly on Black Women's Equal Pay Day?
That's a really good question. And I think that I
The look down, I'm ready.
I think at the end of the day, I think why I really want to do things is because I don't really hear much about Black Women's Equal Pay Day. A lot of people celebrate Equal Pay Day.
Yeah.
And there's so many specific things that have to be navigated, or there's so many specific things about navigating the world, but navigating corporate as a Black woman, that I thought that it was necessary to have very tailored conversation to the Black experience, and
Mm-hmm.
how to now negotiate as a person of color who may likely have a lot more responsibilities and a lot more people leaning on her than the white counterpart or the white woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more pressure. There's pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It could be that you are a first generation immigrant, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you could be the first generation college graduate. You can want to buy your mom a house. Like, there's a lot of reasons why there's additional pressure, and so I want to make sure that we account for that as we talk about negotiation, because there's a lot more on the line. And so I want to tackle this and a lot of other corporate issues from the standpoint of what is our unique experience,
Mm-hmm.
and how does our unique experience shape our decisions or our indecision, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does it shape our decision to move forward or our decision to settle? And so those types of things is the reason why I think it's really necessary to think about intersectionality, but also to have very specific conversations around salary, and how do we navigate salary or get help or have conversations or negotiate, knowing that we are Black people or Black women.
I'm curious, into the chat, if you've negotiated a salary before. For the record, y'all, this recording doesn't show the chat. I'm not going to say anybody's name. We under NDA for this portion. But just out of curiosity, who before has negotiated a salary? So I'm not saying every time you've had an offer letter you've negotiated, but like if you've negotiated a salary before, just throw yes into the chat. I'm just curious where we're at in the space. Okay, so we got some yeses coming through. Never, okay. You're not the only one, that's for sure. Okay. I like the in. No. Now, for those here, if you're comfortable negotiating, like you do it with confidence, put yes into the chat. Okay. All right. This is my random sample, pretending that I'm a scientist here. Okay. When you think about negotiations, Niani, like, and you're talking to people in a higher Black community and beyond, besides actual salary, what are you telling folks to go after? Because some of us know salary and then like we leave it there. Some of us are like, oh, there's other things I can negotiate before. But like when you think about like your mission and what decisions lie on us or within us, what indecisions as you just used, like what are the things beyond salary that you're like, I need to make sure my people know to ask for?
Yeah. Yeah. And let me just turn the light on real quick,
Oh
because
yeah, go do your
I'm in a
thing. Go do
setting,
your
so
thing.
I'm not having that light
You
no
don't
more.
want no sexy glow going.
The glow is gone. And so I'm thinking about the recording. I'm thinking about y'all
Go get it.
So let me just
This what editing is for. Go get your light. I promise y'all, this is flat salsa. This is not vodka. This is not tequila. Because I would be on my butt if it were one of those. I went to take a sip. I was like, I promise y'all, this is flat salsa. This is not vodka. This is not tequila, because I'd be on my butt if it were one of those. But now that the glow has returned.
like, oh, this light wasn't bad. I should have started off with it, but I was trying to do, the natural light out here.
It's too much in these virtual streets. People be having a perfect ring light, the plants cascading in the background.
Right. People make that whole entire background studios like
they got a whole set. It's like, this is a
lot. But when it comes to negotiating, I would say, first off, if you've never negotiated before, understand that there are opportunities. So maybe there haven't been opportunity, or you may have not seen the opportunity for it. So anytime that there is a review season, that's a negotiating opportunity. Anytime that you have gotten a rate or a promotion or a change in title, that's a negotiation opportunity.
Write that down, folks. Write that down.
Anytime that your boss has left and you had to take on more work, or somebody from your team has left and you have to take on more work, or your team has downsized, that's a negotiation opportunity. So even if you've changed teams, like those are negotiation opportunities. And for the second part of your question, what can you negotiate for?
Like, what's your, like, if you had to do a top 3 outside of salary with your mission for like Black folks and Black women in particular, what are the things you're like, sis, look, if you don't go after this whole list, like, go after these?
Right. I mean, what I would say is it's by the person, negotiate what you want, right? And so there are some things that are monetary. There are some things that are monetary like, and there are some things that are just benefits that you want, right? And so, for example, a monetary like thing, and we'll go we're gonna go deep, real deep on the workshop. But monetary like things are benefits that you get that you would probably pay for if you didn't go. I mean, like, for example, like monetary like benefits are benefits that you would pay for if you didn't have that benefit through your company. And so therefore you're kind of saving money. For example, when I was working at the company that I was working at before, it's so easy to find it, but when I was working at the company I was working at before, they were a luxury gym and they were like $250 a month. They had like all types of self-serve water, and like they had a sauna within that gym membership. And I love going to the gym. And so I was able to say, hey, I can have this great experience for free. So that was something that I found a huge benefit as someone who loves going to the gym. Another example can be a certain amount of hotels, right? Hotel spend or travel spend. So that is monetary like, because of the fact that you can have a certain type of experience and not have to pay for it. So people who work at Marriott, right? They get discounts, huge discounts on hotels. And sometimes other people who work at travel companies get a certain amount of like timeshare. So that's a good benefit because people don't have to pay for it. Another benefit that are non-monetary, not monetary, linked to monetary at all, can be about freedom. And so if some people, like I love to see it, some people have that I've heard have basically said, hey, don't put more than X amount of calendars on my X amount of meetings on my calendar per week. That's a benefit.
What? That is that is liberation.
You think about it. Like, let's really go for it. So when we're talking about freedom, what does freedom really look like to you? Like having these hard stops and having these specific boundaries, that can be a benefit. Another thing, I was watching Bozoma St. John, and she has who is the CMO of Netflix. One of her benefits is during the summer, if she has to travel for a certain amount of time, she has to make sure that her child can come with her, and that her child can also, and that they can both bring someone who can look after her child. So that is a benefit, right? Not everybody can ask for that. However, there's other ways to make sure that your mental health, or that the company experience, is working with you. So if you are talking about what you want, really be specific about what is the life that you want. What are the benefit or the monetary like benefits that you want? What is the freedom that you want? So if you're getting paid less money than you would like, is it something to where what I would negotiate or what I negotiated at my last job was they didn't give me the money that I wanted, but they gave me 2 extra weeks of vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting, the $20,000 extra that I wanted, I got 4 weeks of vacation. And
Mm-hmm.
so I thought that the 4 weeks of vacation to me, in my age, was feeling good. I was like, that's more money to be on a boat, like, and so it's like, hey, like if you can't get paid that much money, can you
What can you?
and
Mm-hmm.
or other monetary other freedom like benefits?
What I hear you saying is, I need you to sit down and know thyself so you can know exactly what it is that you want. Because I don't want the gym, y'all. So if your former employer would have been like, Fable, but you could go out the gym, I'd be like, keep your gym. Like that's
Right.
right. Like that's not what I want. I'm not going to utilize it. But then I can definitely think of things that like, well, instead of the gym, this is equal cost. What about that sort of thing? So it's like actually knowing what you want and
Mm,
then moving into a space where you're not afraid to advocate, because it's like what the word that's like going through my brain is like advocacy. Like we have to be willing to advocate for ourselves, especially if we're in a place where we have performative allies who only advocate on, our designated days and designated months, and they don't really go beyond that. Okay, so we got our salary workshop coming up. Do you have the link that you could like drop it into the chat so people can register? Because everyone who hasn't negotiated or is afraid to, I want them in there.
yes. So we're working on the front facing workshop. I mean, the front
Okay.
part of it. So let me kind of go. I got y'all. I got y'all. I got
Because
you.
I could always email it after, but I started my career as a teacher, so every now and then I exhibit my executive leadership skills, and I'm like, sign up now.
No, that's definitely the way to go. I'm going to let's see if I can let's see if I can find the actual crowdcast link.
Okay.
Then I can share that in the chat.
And then
Um,
if you find it after, just send it to me and I'll email it to everyone just to make sure you have it, because it's not easy to do the first time. It can be quite nerve-wracking if you haven't done it before, but the more you advocate for yourself, even if it's not, at an opportunity to review a salary via offer letter or any of those moments that Niani mentioned, the more you just advocate and speak up and say, no, these are my standards, this is where I'm at, you either meet me or I'm out, the easier it becomes to go, bruh, I'm gonna need $30,000 more or you can't have me.
yeah.
And to come from a place of confidence and not humility. Okay, so here goes my executive leadership skills. If everyone can go and take a look at the chat, we now have a link there. I want you to click it. If you can multitask, I want you to register now. If you cannot multitask, just leave it up. And as soon as this is over, you go and register. Okay, that's what we do. If you have dinner with your girls, tell them our dinner is now here and we can reschedule, because we have to get comfortable talking about money. We have to get comfortable negotiating, because yes, do companies have to offer us more and stop the mess with, just be, Sandy said you're done. That's what I'm talking about, Sandy. You tell us this is what I'm talking about right here. But not only do companies need to actually offer us what we're worth, we also have to be on the other side to say, no, that's too low for me.
Right. Right. Definitely agree. I think it's really, really important to make sure that you are really asking for exactly what you want. And I think it's also important to be willing to walk away and have many doors open so that you can do so.
Say it one more time. I believe in repetition. Go ahead.
I think it's also important to be willing to walk away and to have the doors open so that you are able to do so. Now, when I say that, walk away strategically, walk away gracefully, right? Don't let these people get up under your skin and
They
end
ain't
up.
worth it.
All right. Make sure that you have an exit strategy. Make sure that you have other people that you've been talking to. Once you're getting that itch, once the vibe starts acting up, then you need to start reaching out to people and start interviewing ASAP, right? You need to start reaching out to people, and you need to start kind of understanding where you need to go and how you need to go, how you need to go about it. I very much believe in investing in yourself and investing in expert opinion. And so if you guys, let me see if I can find the exact, if I can find you guys a discount code, but there's this thing called 81cents.com, and they do market value reports.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I don't have a discount code though, so we're gonna wait for Niani's code.
I'll drop the discount code, and I'm gonna also put it in the chat. So I think it's 81cents.com. We're gonna be giving away one market value report. Or let me do www. So it's easier.
www. I'm through hyperlinks. Let me stop.
Oh, I don't know why it's not working. Ooh.
You might need to, sometimes they get technical and want the HTTPS.
Oh, you're right. Wow.
I just feel like it's 2021. Why can't I just www.
Exactly. Come on, Zoom.
All these coders. Why can't I just www.
Come on, Zoom. 81cents.com. And so basically with their market value report, you're able to pick out the experts that you'd like to kind of go through your resume and go through your experience with you. And they give you a 24-page report on how much your market value is. And so I always believe in making sure that you know the information up front, because of the fact that if you're really thinking about it, let's really talk about the numbers. Like, I know that we got a little bit of time, but if you're really thinking about it, then you have to understand that if you come in $10,000 less, oftentimes it's around 15, 20.
Talk about the math. Talk about the longevity. Go for it.
If you come in $10,000 less, right? Let's say that you come in just for the sake of numbers and making it easy. You're supposed to make 110,000, and you actually end up making 100,000, right? Let's say you get up to 5% increase every year. That's how much that's how much people likely promote or give their pay increase. So if they give $5,000 increase, then you are still under how much you should be making the next year. When you still under how much you should have been making the next year. But also account for the fact that inflation exists. So this is what people don't think about. You're like, please, y'all, think about this. Inflation exists. Inflation is about 1 to 3%. Let's say inflation during this time of age is about 3%, right? That means that you're really, really just getting a 2% increase.
Come on, Matt.
You're getting a 2% increase, right? And that is not enough.
Nothing.
Like, at the end of the day, you should be getting that. Therefore, at the end of the day, if you are getting a 1 to 3% increase in pay or promotion or whatever that you get, you're really just keeping up with inflation. That's not money.
And when you think about like your very first job out of school, if you were already below, and then you're now 30, 35, 40, how much money was left on the table?
How much money?
And women tend to live longer.
How much money is left on the table when you're really just doing $2,000 more per year? Maybe. Or you're just keeping up with inflation. And so therefore that 10,000, you're not going to be able to catch up. The only way that you're going to be able to catch up is if you jump ship and you renegotiate at a better price.
Say that one more time. I like repetition.
You're not going to be able to catch up if you start off too low.
Yeah.
You're only going to at best you're going to keep up with inflation or get 2% more.
Exactly.
There's no way that you'll be able to catch up unless you jump ship and renegotiate at that new company at a better price.
People that you hear that are like, and I made 30,000 more, I got 50,000, they're leaving. They're not at the same company. They're leaving because your company, I don't care how much they love you, how much dope things you've done for them. You don't go from 100 to 130 the next year.
It's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Unless it's some crazy, unless it's like high in leadership, right?
Yeah.
But the only way, and I'm really close to some of the leaders from the last company. These people, have y'all ever noticed? Because I gotta make sure y'all notice. Have y'all ever noticed? Look at many of these VP levels, these executive people and above. Look at their LinkedIn. Most of the people that you see will probably be at a company for a long time, go to another company, and then
come back.
You know why they do that? Because that company, that was a strategy.
Yeah.
That's a pattern for a reason. They do love the company, right? That company had to see what they were missing.
And then to be able to say, okay, I'll offer you X, Y, Z.
Yep. And they were able to negotiate. It could be more money. It could be more flexibility. You know, it could be.
But they have that leverage now.
They have leverage. Remember that. Always, even if you love the company, make sure you have leverage at all times.
And love you more.
Yes.
Even when you love these hoes. Love you more.
You to put that on a shirt. Please take my money. Like, I need it.
Even because there are some places where it's like, it might really be an amazing place. And still I say, love you more. Some of we gonna do the Sealy clap. Like, love you more.
I think that, I love that. And I definitely think that it's really important to understand that your power, no matter how much you feel pressure is being put on you have the power. You have the power to say no. You may have to take some sacrifices. You may have to I moved in with my grandma. I moved in with my grandma.
Hey, grandma. Grandma cooks for you, though?
But she do cook for me. That's non-monetary benefit, right? I got a laundry free laundry. I don't got to pay no bills. Come on.
Right. Oh, my grandmother tonight be like, Niani said her grandmother cooked for her. So what you about to do? Pull up.
But I'd rather be in my grandma's house than to be making 25,000, 25% less, and then having to cook. Like, it's just what do you want?
Between laundry and feeding yourself, it's too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So definitely think about what you're willing to sacrifice, what you're willing to put on hold in order for you to move forward. But also, maybe you don't even have to sacrifice. Maybe you have to just make sure you looking at somebody on the side and during lunch break submitting applications. Like, maybe you're just making sure that you have that extra exit strategy so you can peace out gracefully. You can make sure that you have, something going on so that you're not ever tied to one job, but navigate this strategically. Love yourself more than you love anything else, and make sure that you talk to your peers about money.
I just feel like I need a virtual collection plate. I got a really dramatic peace lily that's just wilted over here, but I don't see anything besides this that I can use to collect our coins to give an offering to you on this evening. Folks, look, I saw a whole bunch of people put it. Good night, Sophie. I saw a whole bunch of people put into the chat that they've registered for the salary negotiating workshops. Thank you for listening to me. Okay. As I minister to you, I minister to my dramatic self. Show up, take notes, come with questions, be ready. If you haven't registered, what are you waiting on? Share it with a friend. Market value report. That is such valuable information to have. Like that's all I got. I mean, I can underline it, italicize it, bold it, all the sexy type fonts that exist in the world, but do all of those things. Go ahead and join Higher Black Now Slack community. It's an amazing community. And then if you are not, what's the word I'm looking for? If you are not a member of the RBG network, join that too, because that's where the networking across comes from. It's like, if you want to move cities, folks are moving, folks are leaving. You need to be able to tap into who's on the ground. One, for brunch, because there's nothing wrong with the kiki, but also to go, okay, once we sober, can you look at this resume? Because I'm not sure. Like, I just want you to just look at it one more time before I hit submit. Like that, those are the types of relationships that will help bring us together, but also bring us forward in the way that we want. So it's been a beautiful evening. I'm so excited. Niani, I can talk to you all night, but folks gotta go to bed. We gotta brush teeth, all those things.
Before you go to bed, I have to ask one more thing of you guys.
Okay.
So, Higher Black is a finalist for the Essence.
Oh, yes, you gotta vote.
Build Your Legacy competition. And so we're one out of 3 finalists. The last day. Tell people about it. So we can.
I voted, so y'all gotta go and vote.
You could go on higherblacknow.com/vote for us. It'll take you to the survey. Share it with your people. Go on different browsers. Change your emails, because this is going to help us continue to offer free and affordable resources to Black women. It's $100,000. That's $100,000 for us.
Amazing.
$100,000 to reinvest right back into the community, and for me to be able to pay my team. Right, I have to make sure that I pay my team so they don't walk away, even though they love us.
Oh, that's so true. I saw a post the other day, and I bookmarked it. But we hear all this time about folks leaving to become entrepreneurs, Black folks in particular. But what we don't, we don't unpack that conversation to go the next level, to go, when you don't have the capital, you're not able to attract and retain dope Black talent to create competitive entities against the traditional white structures. So it's like, I would love to go work for my homegirl, but I'm like, baby, I can't work for you for $45,000. It's just not, I can't. But if you could give me I'm like, you don't even got to give me my salary on that now, but if you could give me a little bit more, then we could level up together. So that 100,000 allows for capacity building and growth in a way that you don't necessarily think of in your day-to-day when you're not behind the scenes of trying to run any type of business. Folks are voting. Keep voting. Folks are registering. My gosh, I love you.
Yes. And before I go, this last thing, I'm going to make sure that you guys have the 81 cents, this 81 cents discount code. So let me give you guys that.
That's
real
right.
quick.
Ashley always keeps me on my toes, Niani, for the record. Ashley she be having me cracking up.
So here is the code. Your code you'll get 10% off. I think that's almost $20, like maybe $15 to $20. But it is all caps HB discount. I'm also putting that in the chat. So that's how you guys get your 10% off. And if you attend the workshop, we're giving away 1 free market value report. So thank you guys so much. Sable, thank you.
No, thank you. I'm just here trying to get people's information. I like to talk. You know what I'm saying? I got in trouble for talking in elementary school, but it's working out these days. For all of you, our next episode is going to be with Dr. Nadia Lopez, that you might have come across from Humans of New York. She was a former principal of a school she founded in Brownsville, Brooklyn, where my mother's side of the family is from. And it's going to talk about much what Niani was discussing, and it's called Permission to Leave. Because some of us don't feel that we like giving yourself permission to leave where you are. If you have not heard about Dr. Nadia Lopez, honestly, Google her. You can find, I think her Instagram handle is literally like at Dr. Nadia Lopez. But if you search Nadia and Lopez, she will come up. She's our next guest. Super excited. Folks, go to sleep, okay? Don't worry about laundry. Don't worry about dishes. Take your vitamins, drink your water, eat your food, wash your face, brush your teeth, take care of yourselves. I love you. You are loved, and I will see you for the next episode. Niani, thank you, thank you, thank you.